Hello everyone, it's Rider here and welcome to another video, and today we're going to have a look at an older toy. I've reviewed the Studio Series 86 figures lately, but as you know, I went to the NEC Toy Fair the weekend and I picked up this wonderful beast of a toy. This is Transformers Universe Ultra Class Onslaught, and this thing, It's a figure that I've flirted with buying for years and years, and I never got round to it. I think I saw one at the at TFM one year, but it was missing this shield. This is complete. Picked it up for 15 quid, and what a blast from the past it was. This is a version of Onslaught that doesn't combine, which was a bit of a theme with the Ultra Class figures, because they also had a silver bolt which didn't combine. They do kind of look like their G1 figures, G1 forms as it were, but they were kind of reimagined, and this was reimagined as like an armoured SWAT van rather than the truck with the cannons on the back. And this is awesome, really cool. Reminds me a little bit of Rook, that kind of look. I know Rook came after in Combiner Wars, but this is a big chunky piece of plastic. It's got 6 wheels that all roll. Oh, and it also, I didn't realise it did that. It makes a noise when it's rolling. I didn't realise it did that. That's awesome. It does have other lights and sounds, so you can press this button here and you get a machine gun noise and the worst siren ever. Yeah, that's on like a rotation, so machine gun, terrible siren, machine gun, terrible siren. And these light up here, and so do Onslaught's eyes in robot mode. Some lovely detail here, so it's got these kind of claws that can come down to like smash their way into buildings, kind of almost like Wolverine claws. It has got the shield on top. I think it looks better without the shield. As you can see, you've only got this gun turret. These tend to fall out and are lost very often. They're pretty easy to pull out. They're not missiles, they're just static guns, but for some reason they're separate pieces and they pop out. You can see that there's no real robot kibble. You can see his head just about there, but there's no real robot kibble on show. It's done really well. So as I say, the wheels rotate and it makes a noise. This turret will rotate from about there to there, won't go all the way around, but it's all you need really. It's a lovely figure, some lovely detail. You've got SWAT written here, you've got Monzo 12782 there, and repeated on the other side as well. Yeah, really lovely figure, lovely old mode. And these were about, thanks to Luffy and Dave, who were helping me with my research for this video. I say research, a message on our group. This obviously has got lights and sound, which a lot of Transformers don't have today, but this was about the £25 to £30 price point, which is about the same as what we pay for Voyagers today, and you don't obviously get the lights and sounds. So let's do a couple of comparisons with some more modern figures and see what they look like size-wise. So here is Onslaught next to a standard deluxe from today, and bearing in mind that these are now around the same sizes as Voyagers, maybe a little bit bigger, but you can see, I mean, this was what, circa 22-25 quid. Obviously it was a repaint. I think normally they go for around the £20 mark. This was 25. You can see as the years have gone on, we've got probably better design Transformers, better transformations, better paint detailing, but you don't get the same amount of plastic as chunk as you got here with Onslaught. So let's get Onslaught all transformed up into his robot mode, and if I can remember how to do this, you just basically tear the thing apart, fold up this bum flap here, like so. And the legs are quite clever actually. So this part here will open up, like so. You fold this wheel in, you then push this back down into these slots here. You fold up the front flap and then pop the leg down, and that is the first leg transformed. So, and you can see what I mean about these popping off. They do pop off quite a lot. So, open this section up, fold the wheel in, peg these sections together, fold the front foot forward and this flap down, and there we have the legs near enough done. you then pull these. Oh, we've lost the other cannon. Hang on. So you can really see why these got lost, how they pop up. You pull this section apart and then fold this section down, and this part goes back as well, and that just tabs into some tabs there. These arms then rotate round and up, and then you pull these arms down and you can rotate the fist. And let's do the same this side, so rotate these up, pull these down, rotate, pull out the fist, job done. Let's just get him tidied up. And there he is in his robot mode. What a big chunky beast. You can obviously plug these cannons back in, which is cool. And then you get the more iconic Onslaught look with those two cannons on the back. Nice head sculpt, really nice head sculpt. You can see that the detail isn't quite there as how it was on the well, how it is on some of the more modern Transformers. We have got some gaps here, so the one thing I noticed is his arms actually look better that way around, and you can rotate the fist. But that basically then means you've got no articulation on the elbow. So if you want to have articulation on the elbow, you basically have to have this exposed gap here. This arm here does have a gimmick that will shoot out his gun, which is quite cool. Articulation was really well, considering the age of this figure. So the head can go do a full 360. The arms are on some lovely ratchets. You do get a bend at the elbow and a rotation at the wrist. That can do a full 360. Legs can go out that far, forward and back, and that far due to this section here. You do get a bend at the knee on a ratchet as well. Some lovely ratchets on this thing. You don't get any rocker at the ankles, but it is in an A stance anyway, so it kind of works. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I love this robot mode. The lights and sounds do work. And you get a light up gimmick on the eyes, which is quite good. You can also take this shield, pull out this section here, and then what you have to do is you have to push this section through here, and there's a little tab goes into the slot here on his arm. So it goes in a really weird place. So actually that's where the articulation is on his shield, but what you have to kind of do is rotate his fist around. So it basically bends backwards, and that way you can have the shield, and then you can also pop his gun out. And yeah, I mean, I think this thing is absolutely beautiful. It's a proper chunky Transformer, and I miss Transformers like this, I really do. It was nice to have a G1 character that still represented the G1 character but brought something new. And I know that the Universe was the line that tried to do that, and in a way, it was refreshing at the time, and it probably would be refreshing again now, because let's face it, we've had so many perfect representations of G1 characters. Wouldn't it be nice to see them reimagined into something new again? And I know it's a cycle, and I know at some point we'll say, oh, that's not the G1 figure, but it was nice, because let's face it, Onslaught and Silverbolt to a certain extent never really had their moment in the sun, same as the rest of the combiners, because essentially, as soon as you got the other limbs, you never really bothered with Onslaught or Silverbolt. It was just Bruticus or Superior. Having their own character that didn't combine was nice to see, because how many of us have actually just got an Onslaught sitting on our shelves, or a Combiner Torso just sitting on our shelves, not combined up? I know I haven't. All of my combiners are combined. So it's nice to have a representation of a character that's just good in his own right. Really, really stunning figure. Let's do a few size comparisons with more modern toys. So I've just grabbed a couple of Voyagers, which is about the same price point, around that mark anyway, as Onslaught was back in the day. So compared to Inferno, this is a Voyager class figure. This was around the Voyager price point at the time. No lights and sounds. You can't argue that Inferno here is the more accurate, tune accurate, has a better articulation, and probably looks better and more realistic in both marks. But this is fun, and look at the size of the toys we used to get. Another Voyager, this is Studio Series 86 Scorch. And you can see here the massive difference in size of these things. So yeah, these are so much fun, and it's great to look back and actually for £15 I picked up this complete. You know what? It's a load of fun. It's a load of fun, and I'm just happy that I finally took the plunge and bought this. For years I've seen it. For years and years I've thought about picking it up, and Sunday I finally did, thanks to a bit of persuasion from Brad, and I'm in love with it. Definitely my best pickup of the Comic Con, and it might be up there in my top 10 bots of 2021. How random will that be? A figure from about 2005, I think it was. I might be wrong, but I think it was about 2005. Making a top 10 list so many years later. Yeah, utterly stunning. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little, I suppose, flashback review of Transformers Ultracross Onslaught. Yeah, until next time, I've been Zort Rider. I'll catch you again really soon.